What's good, everybody? We got football Fridays with my guy Five Star. We back. I mean, I'm over in LA, so we not shoulder to shoulder this time, but
Yeah,
we still
man.
get to the bag. What's good with you, Five?
I'm good, man. Safe travels on your way back to Vegas. And hopefully I see you this evening, man, and we can kick it or whatever, man. Hope LA's been good to you.
Yep, I gotta make it back, get some of that good CFL money too.
Oh, yeah, it's some CFL money. I'm not going to give it out, but we definitely going to be on the play. I'll talk to you about it and text you, and I'm definitely going to send one to the group. It's get a little bit late in the year in the CFL. It's some good money to be made right now.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. I got one for you tomorrow too.
Okay.
But today,
Oh, they don't play till tomorrow?
yep,
It's a total or a side?
it's a side.
I know exactly who you on. We'll talk about it out there. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit of college. We do got one game today, a couple tomorrow, and then we'll touch on a little bit of NFL like we always do. So first up, we have FSU in Virginia. Opened up -7 for FSU. Still see 7, 6.5, depending where you shop. This total keep moving.
Yeah.
It was 58.5 at the opener. Now as high as 60.5. Um, I just talked to Rob Vino about this game, and he
Mm-hmm.
likes over 59.5. He thinks that we'll see points in this one. I know you're not that big of a total guy, but are you in agreement with the line moving that direction, or are you looking at the side in this one?
It immediately screams over for this game, Ski, because you got two offenses who have been really good putting up some points. My problem is I don't know if Virginia's going to be able to move the ball on Florida State as easily as they have on other teams. Like Florida State's a pretty good defense, and I know that you look on Virginia's side, they have a 6-year quarterback who's pretty good, and Chandler Morris. His dad was a offensive coordinator at many stops, most famously at Clemson. He was there for a while as the OC, and I believe he was the head coach was he at SMU for a while, but maybe he was an OC over there. But Chandler Morris has seen a lot of football through his dad, played a lot of football because he started at TCU, ended up last year playing at North Texas, and then this year he transferred to Virginia. And he's been putting up some numbers. He has 1,050 yards and 8 touchdowns already through 4 games, which is pretty good. But I just worry about if they're going to be able to block up this Florida State front four. They're really good. They're really athletic, really strong. This is a really public game. It's going to be a lot of money, of course, on Florida State because they're the national brand. But I don't know about the total, but I do like for sure Florida State. I got them at over 33.5. I think it's up to 34.5 now. Yesterday when you tuned in a little bit, we was on Jay Money Show, and I was talking about taking them at 33.5 minus 125. I still think the 34.5 is good. The reason why is Florida State is 3-0 to the over on their team totals this year. They lead the country in scoring with 58 points per game. They lead the country in total offense with 628 yards per contest, man. That's really good. They're also second in the country in yards per completion. They average 19 yards per catch, man. And that's going to be difficult for Virginia to slow down, especially when they're one of the teams that are really bad at the amount of yards they allow per completion, man. They're ranked 103rd, and they haven't played anyone of note outside of NC State. So I'd be careful with the total. It might soar over. All of the metrics stated it should go over. I just don't know if Virginia's going to be able to move the ball on Florida State. They may. So you definitely would want to go over rather than go under, but I'm not clear on it to say, like, yeah, take it. But I do definitely like Florida State to put up points. And the reason why is because when you look at the schedule that Virginia's played, it's been really light. But when they played NC State got to 35 on them. And NC State isn't nearly the offensive juggernaut that Florida State is. Tommy Castellanos was banged up last week. He set out the second half, but I don't think it's anything major. I think he will be playing because this is a huge game for them, with it being their first ACC road game. Also, they run the ball really well, man. They have some really good running backs over there. And Gus Malzahn is a longtime coordinator, former head coach for Auburn. He's the one calling the plays. 79% of FSU's pass offense comes off the play action. And I think that that's going to be really important in this game to establish the run, and then they're going to hit you with chunk plays. And I don't see Virginia being able to slow them down at all defensively. So that's one thing. I haven't looked at the weather. I don't know if the weather's may play a factor. I don't think so. I haven't heard anything about any bad weather, but as long as everything is just a normal night, I think that Florida State gets that 35 easy. And the total might get there on the over because I think Florida State might score 35 in the first half, honestly.
Are you expecting points from the favorite in this one?
Yeah.
And just don't want to be sweating or thinking about that Virginia side. So
Right.
I can
Right.
understand that. This next game, I know a little bit more about.
Uh-huh.
And that's LSU and Ole Miss. So LSU, they beat a couple names, but I don't know if those teams are even really that good from what we've seen from them afterwards. Like
Mm-hmm.
they beat Florida, right? I don't know how good Florida is. Clemson looked weak lately. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how good they really are. LSU, I worry about the offense. When I think about the Ole Miss quarterback, he might be. I'm curious what you think. Do you think he's better than LSU's quarterback because he's like dual threat, or how you viewing this one?
Well, he's played a lot of snaps. You're talking about the kid Trinidad Chambliss that they
Mm-hmm.
got over there now, and uh, he's a birthday twin of mine. When I was doing some research on him, I'm like, oh, he August 24th too, so I know he's got a lot of talent. So he's a guy that came over as a fifth-year senior man from Fair State, and that's a small Division II school. He won the championship there, was the best player in that level, but this is a different level, bro. Like um, the reason why you probably don't think much of Nussmeier is because this year Brian Kelly kind of is really tailoring down the offense. If you remember last year, LSU was throwing it a lot, getting a lot of shootouts. They were hurt defensively, though. They were missing Whit Weeks. They were missing the outstanding other outside linebacker that they have over there, Harold Perkins. All of those guys are back this year, man. They reloaded on the defensive back field, which has always been what LSU is known for. It's always been called DBU. To me, in my opinion, you know how I am about high school football and how it translates to college football. I think that LSU is the most talented defense in the country. Even though Clemson isn't that good of a team, I think they kind of lost their confidence against LSU, you know. So, and Florida, Florida looked pretty good last week against Miami. They stayed with them a little bit in the second half, and then Miami separated late. We laid the 7, so we were glad about that. But it's not by chance that LSU picked them out 5 times. Like, this team is really good, man. A really stingy D, and the names that you named are really big name teams that they've shut down. They haven't played a real cupcake schedule as Ole Miss has. I think Ole Miss only faced Arkansas as a real team so far, and we already know about Arkansas, man. They can score a bunch of points, but they're not going to protect the ball. They're not going to play any defense. LSU is only giving up 182 passing yards per game. They blitz 40% of the time, and they hit the quarterback over 40% of their dropbacks. That's outstanding. Also, opponents have a 4% interception rate versus this LSU defense, so that's like out of this world. They're only giving up 5 yards per pass. So, and also 5 red zone trips. They've only allowed 3 touchdowns, man. That's the best stop rate in the country. Also, they've generated 8 turnovers. Ole Miss has a really bad run defense. So LSU will be missing their top back, but this is LSU, man. Louisiana churns out running backs the same way that it churns out gumbo. So, like, that's nothing. They'll be able to put somebody in there who can tote the rock. They got a lot of playmakers, a lot of young kids that's itching to go. So I'm not really worried about that. But Ole Miss giving up 190 yards on the ground per game, allowing 5 yards to carry, 120th in rush success rate allowed. Like, those aren't good things, man. And Brian Kelly has just been really conservative this year because he understands that the strength of the team is the defense. So let's not put them in bad situations. Nussmeier has shown in the past that if you let him throw it around too much, he will turn over the ball. So I think that they're trying to make him more into a game manager. Their offensive coordinator, Joe Sloan, is really innovative, man. He has some really great plays that they run, but they're just trying to monitor things and play towards their top-tier defense. Blake Baker is the defensive coordinator for LSU, and he'll be having a job probably in the mid-major this year if LSU can't hold on to him because he's outstanding, man. He's done a great job. They run some really exotic blitz packages that are going to give Ole Miss some trouble. I know the Trinidad Chambliss will probably play, but Austin Simmons is actually a better quarterback, man. He's a guy that can throw a little bit better than Chambliss, but Chambliss can't scramble more than him. So that's one thing to look for. Plays break down and him being able to use his feet. But you got 4 linebackers for LSU that all running under a 4.5, man. So good luck with trying to, scramble on them. Also, I'd be worried about this because if I'm an Ole Miss backer, because one, they got Charlie Weiss Jr. calling plays. I don't trust him because I didn't trust his dad. I know the Rebels, and the Rebels, they like to play fast. They're going to try to stretch the field vertically. They got wide receivers who are big threats. Keywan Lacey is a really good running back, but now they're facing different type of competition when they're facing a team like LSU, man. Brian Kelly is 35-37 against AP top 25 teams. That's not good, but it's better than the guy he's facing on the other side of the field in Lane Kiffin. But another thing that's going on outside with Brian Kelly is that he's 45-27-2 against the spread in his career as an underdog. So I think that we're in a good spot with LSU. LSU is also one of 2 Power 5 teams with a winning record as an underdog since 2022. So that's important as well. Lane Kiffin is only 11-24 versus AP top 25 teams in his career. Ole Miss is 9-16-1 against the spread in conference play since 2022, which is worse than the SEC. Ole Miss is also 17-25-1 against the spread in conference play since Lane Kiffin became the head coach, which is also the worst in the SEC. Another thing going in our favor, Whit Weeks is banging Lane Kiffin's daughter. So we expect some secrets to be passed, some pillow talk. So I'm going with LSU, man. We go with the Tigers, man. Tigers plus 1.5, Tigers money line to get it done. I think that they shut down Ole Miss's offense.
Hank says he know what time it is when you hear the breakdown like that. He says you know the deal when you get an extensive breakdown like this.
Yeah, because LSU is my squad. That's only that, Ski. That's my first team. If you see me send them to you and about to give it out to the public, I must really believe because I like to tuck them and keep it to myself. I don't need any jank on them, But I think that they're in a good situation right now, man. I wouldn't trust Lane Kiffin in these type of spots, man. He's shown himself to be almost as inept as James Franklin in these type of situations.
Good stuff. Casey cutting up in the chat, man. You gotta watch Casey over there, man. Booper says, came for the pick, stayed for the pillow talk.
What's up, Boofer? My dog, Boofer, man. That boy Boofer still in the mix.
Casey said, she cutting up. They stingy with the D2? Or just Casey, I'm done with you, man. I'm done with you.
Hey, man, I'm married. I'm not getting involved in that.
I'm done with Casey, man. All right. One more college game for today. This is for Saturday. Tomorrow. This is a good one. It's a night game. Alabama and Georgia. And man, I mean, I'm gonna just remind me, what's the coach's name, the new coach's name for Alabama? DeBoer?
Caleb DeBoer. We made a lot of money on him before, Ski.
So what I'm saying is Alabama has owned Georgia really, but a lot of that was Nick Saban. It was not DeBoer, right?
Well, he beat him last year.
He did beat him last year. And because of that, it was a bad loss too. I think that Georgia
first half they smoked him.
I think Georgia remembers that. Like when you get I don't know. It makes me hesitate to think about doing anything but taking Georgia here. I like what I saw from Georgia in that Tennessee win. But we say the good teams win, the great teams cover. Georgia hasn't covered any point spreads
for years.
I don't know. If I still had Nick Saban, I'd be running to the window in this one. I'm curious how you like this game.
Okay, but this is the thing. Caleb DeBoer 6-0 versus Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning, and Steve Sarkisian. All right. And he's a big-time coach that really coaches well on big stages. Kirby Smart kryptonite is Alabama. It doesn't matter who's the coach. He's 1-5 against them, 1-6, for his career. The only win was in the national championship, and that's because Jameson Williams, got hurt at halftime. If not, I think that Bryce Young and Jameson Williams beat Georgia in that one as well, and he would have never beaten old St. Nick in Alabama. I think that Caleb DeBoer has this team clicking. The best thing that could have happened to Alabama this year was getting embarrassed in their first game like they did at Florida State, because they've been playing with their hair on fire since. we, like you just said, I always talk about good teams win, great teams cover. Special teams can win when the public is on their back, and they beat the hell out of Wisconsin, and all the money was on Alabama last week to cover that -20, and they did. I like Alabama. They've won 9 or 10 against Georgia since 2007. Also, another thing, Georgia's pass defense isn't good, Ski. So I think they're going to have hell dealing with a hot, Simpson at quarterback for Alabama. The receivers for Alabama, as usual, because they become right there. I'd say the best receiving schools have in the last decade have been Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, in no order. But Alabama has some real playmakers, bro. Like they got some dudes on the outside that are going to give Georgia hell. Georgia tends to start slow. So we'll go with Alabama first half plus 1.5. And I also take them for the game. I actually think Alabama wins this one going away. I think that late maybe Georgia tries to make a push. I also would lean toward the over because I think that it's going to be some points scored. It's only 53.5. This isn't the old Georgia-Alabama matchups where it used to be just the defenses, just so great and the quarterbacks are in depth. We got Gunnar Stockton is going to run around. He's the second coming of Stetson Bennett. He's just a guy that's going to play hard, for Kirby Smart and try to fight back like he did against Tennessee in the second half. And as I told you, Caleb DeBoer has shown a great ability to have his teams prepared for these type of contests. And I think that offense is going to be humming. Georgia will be wearing all black uniforms. The last time Alabama went to that stadium and they were all black, they beat them by about 4 touchdowns. So I think that Alabama looks at Georgia's little brother, and I think that Nick Saban will be sharing all of his trade secrets with Caleb DeBoer this week about Kirby Smart and what he likes to do. Give me Alabama first half and for the game.
All right, 5-star liking Bama in that one. I will we'll move it over, probably rapid fire a little bit of NFL. Not go too long on this.
All right.
Commanders and Falcons. I'm gonna just get straight to it and ask you. I mean, flip of favorites, open -1.5 for Washington. Now Atlanta's favorite. Atlanta got shut out, right? Was it 30-0?
You made a great call on that one last week, Ski.
Man, yeah, I got to pat myself on the back a little bit.
Yeah, you get a pat. That was a layup. I was sitting there thinking about your Red Rock. I was like, damn, thank you, Ski, because I had the little 4.5, but I'm like, damn, they beat their ass.
Beating them down. But after you get beat down like that, man, you probably might show up the next week with a little bit of effort. That's my first thought. And they're at the house now. So you have a Commanders team without Jaden Daniels. I mean, do you think that the Falcons can get right here at home? Or how are you viewing this game?
Man, I'm just betting the best teams from now on and live with the Commanders are clearly the best team in this game. Michael Penix is really disappointing me because what I've noticed is he doesn't have any touch on his passes. Everything is 100 miles per hour, and then it's coming with the spin from a left-hander. That's kind of hard for receivers to deal with, man. We'll see if Bijan Robinson can break out. That's the key. The only way that I see a path to victory for the Falcons is running the ball. Like they got to get Bijan involved. Then that'll kind of ease it up on Penix and take the pressure off him. As he's pretty much a rookie quarterback. Because last year, he started maybe one game or something like that. So this is his first season. He has a lot to learn. He does have a bright future, but he was known for his accuracy, and he hasn't been that accurate this year. That's the thing. Another thing to watch for with this game is even if Marcus Mariota plays, which I think that's why the line is what it is, this is a good revenge spot not only for him but for Dan Quinn. Both of these guys were in Atlanta. Mariota was the quarterback put in a really bad situation, didn't do too much coming from Tennessee when he went to the Falcons as the starting quarterback. Dan Quinn took the Falcons to the Super Bowl, and they kind of, pulled the rug on him and kind of, forgot about all the good stuff that he did over there and fired him. So I think that Washington is a much better team. I think that if it comes down to it, it's going to come down who can put up the most points. Like that's just every game, but especially in this game where you got two teams who got pretty good defenses. Atlanta's defense has played pretty good except for last week, and I expect them to play better this week for sure. But I got Cliff Kingsbury over Zach Robinson all day. I think Cliff Kingsbury figures out a way to put up some points. Washington will be struggling with the run game. Maybe we get a showing from Jeremy McNichols. Maybe he has a good game because I think Krosky Merritt is going to be out, and we know Eckler's gone for the season. But I mean, the way that Mariota was running that offense last week, why would I think it changed this week and now on turf, and inside the dome and familiar grounds for him? Better coach team with Dan Quinn. Also, Washington needs to keep winning because they're trying to keep pace with Philadelphia. They already are one game behind them, so I like Washington personally in this game. I'll take if it's flipped now, give me Washington, and I'd probably buy half a point to take to 3, but I think the Commanders win money line, honestly.
All right, I have one question for you. Don't overthink this. I'm just a thought for me.
Okay.
Do you think you said you want to bet on the better teams? Are you viewing it like, before the season you thought Washington would be way better than Atlanta, or
Yeah,
is it just
yeah,
okay?
I do because it's the sum of the team. I think that they have a much better coach. I think Raheem Morris is all right, but you remember last year he
Nah,
ticked us off.
nah.
Yeah, but he has eliminated one major problem from him, and that was Young Ho. Young Ho Koo was
Hey, that boy
working.
be
He was
yeah,
working. He got rid of him, so that was a smart move
been
by
working
him
for
doing that.
years.
But like we know, if you gonna trust Dan Quinn or you gonna trust Raheem Morris, like come on, we gonna trust. Every time. Hold on, Ski. My bad.
No, we good. We good money.
Okay.
Um,
Somebody tried to get up in here on the FaceTime off the computer.
hey, it's about that time, man. You're supposed to be done with these shows anyway, so that's
It's
probably what
all
it is.
good. What
All right,
else
let's
we
get
got?
to let's get to this next one, man. It'll probably be the last one. Um, Colts and Rams
Okay.
opened up -4.5. Buy back the other way. Seeing 3.5, and it could move to 3. Oh, that's surprising to me. I mean, I got to give credit to the Colts for what we've seen them do so far this season. Really, really impressive as far as I didn't think they would come out smashing everybody 3-0. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the Rams, I don't know. If the Colts are better than the Rams, they're gonna have to show me. I think the Rams are the better
Exactly.
team in that home.
Yeah.
So that's how you viewing this one?
We're on the same note on that one, and especially with the fact that the Rams lost the way that they did last week. Like, that was a heart wrenching loss that they had. They had that game under control. And people don't realize that the Rams are a really solid defense, man. They're young, but they're really good. Jared versus a game record. The Colts are dealing with some injuries, especially in the defensive backfield. So I think that Matt Stafford is able to throw the ball on them. I just think that this is a game for the Rams to take care of their business. You look at the Colts, they have been impressive. The most impressive victory was against Denver, but let's be real about it. If they don't call that stupid play, whatever, judgment call by the ref that gave the Colts a second chance to kick the field goal, to make sure that Vegas took care of their business. And I had the Colts in that game. But still, with that said, Denver really won that game. If they don't get an extra chance like they did, they beaten Miami. Denver put up 28 points on them, and Denver isn't that good of a team offensively. You got Tennessee that scored 20 points on them last week. I think that Daniel Jones, it's time for the glass slipper to come off. I don't think that he's going to fall back to being a terrible quarterback, but I think he comes back to the mean this week and isn't as good as he's been all week with the type of pressure that the Rams are going to be able to apply on the defensive line. I think that they pick him off a couple times, and I think that the Rams end up winning this game. Of course, I'd buy the hook and take it down to a 3 if possible because it's a prime number. You don't want to lay 3.5. You want to lay 3. It's only going to take, I think, -120, -130. It's worth the 10 cents, 20 cents in insurance. But I do think the Rams bounce back at home this week.
All right, good stuff on that. We're in agreement there. I'm gonna just real quick before we get out of here, toss these two to you together. And if you have an opinion on either one,
Okay.
feel free. But I did talk about them with Rob. I like the Lions. I took a -8.5. I just think that the offense is in a really good rhythm. I don't think the Browns' offense will be able to keep up. They struggled to score versus a couple poor defenses like the Bengals, and there's one other one out there. So I think that the Lions could run away with this one. And next would be, I mean, 49ers just don't have Kittle. I mean, Brock Purdy should be back. The receivers are healthy, going to be playing versus Trevor Lawrence and that defense. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd have to look towards the 49ers in this one. So any thought from you on either the Browns and Lions or Jaguars and 49ers?
I can't talk out for either one of those. Lions are one of my favorite teams. I consider Dan Campbell right now the top head coach in the NFL, just simply because I think that he has his team more prepared to play than any other coach in the NFL on a consistent basis. That's why he's had the best record over the last 2 seasons as a head coach. They take these regular season games serious, so I don't expect them to jump off the gas in it just because the Browns are coming to town. Then also the Browns had that miracle cover. NFL has used them last week for what they need. They might lose by 30 this week, so I would definitely be with you on that side. I like the Lions -10, if anything. Browns do have a good, defense. We know that they're going to have to make sure that they block up Myles Garrett because that guy is a game record. As far as the Niners, I played that game. The group and I played at money line early in the week. I think we got -170 or something like that. I just think that the Niners are just, getting by until they can get healthy. They're winning games. Their best receiver, Ricky Pearsall, has been out all week. I think he's going to play
He
those.
practiced yesterday.
Practice yesterday, good. Okay, so he's important to that offense because he's kind of replaced Deebo Samuel as the big playmaker on the offense, especially with Kittle out. But Mac Jones, just like I told you guys on X, that it's not a big difference between Brock Purdy and Mac Jones when Shanahan's calling the plays, and we saw that they were still able to win the contest that Brock Purdy was out. Brock Purdy is back now, and I think they get it done. Another one to look at, too, it's going to be a lot of, I think, covers, a lot of favorites that cover this week. I like Houston. I think Houston's going to blow out the Titans. I think this is their get-right week. They're 0-3. Nick Caley has fire up on his ass. Everybody in the media is on his back. Everybody's on CJ back, and CJ has had a lot of good past performances against the Titans. You got a rookie quarterback going against one of the best defenses in the whole league, and you know that D'Amico is going to have that defense ready to play for sure. And the last time that they played each other in Houston, it has not been really close. They won by 9 points, 23-14 last January and 26-3 the year before that. So I just think that it's time for the Texans to get right. So I would lay the 7 with the Texans against the Titans.
Good stuff. I can't talk you off. I probably like under in that game. I think the Titans have an okay pass defense, and the Texas defense.
Pass defense. They're good on their defense, man. They're a good defense.
And Texas defense good too. So you already talked about that. So 39.5, probably low for a reason.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. I think we did a solid job. So now, I call it best bets, but however you want to do. If you want to recap, if you want to give one best bet, and also let the people know all the stuff you got going. I know the Wagering World, you got all that good stuff.
Yeah. Y'all go to www.thewageringworld.com and get stuff like this merch right here. It's us versus the machine and other items. I appreciate you guys who all have came to the site and bought merchandise. As far as in where the catch me at, you already know every Friday I'm here with Ski, but on Mondays and Wednesdays I do the Wagering World. Now I'm just doing Fridays with Ski and just posting on the page. So we're just running dual broadcast, so that way you'll see it on Ski's channel as well as mine. And then, as far as in my picks, I like Alabama +3. I like Alabama first half +1.5. I like LSU to get it done on the road as well. So I got 2 road teams on the SEC, in the SEC, which is difficult, but I think that I'm picking the 2 better teams in that situation. Also, we talked about on the NFL side of things that I like the Rams for sure at home against the Colts. And I do like the Washington Commanders as being a better team. I think that Atlanta is one of those teams that's about to go south, man. I don't like what I'm seeing over there at all. That was troubling what we saw at Carolina last week. So those are my picks. And once again, I've seen some people go to my website and ask about getting in the private group. If you want to get in the private group, please contact me on X. If you don't have can't DM me or anything like that, just add me on the TL and I'll come find you and I'll make sure to reach out to you.
Good stuff. For myself, I'll just leave you guys with the Lions. I took the -8.5. I still think they'll cover the 10. And I'm pretty certain, some way, shape, or form, however I bet it, probably going to bet money line, but I like the 49ers too. At the very least, I should be on both of those this weekend. So 5-star, always good breaking these games down with you. Time for me to go hit the road, see if I could make it back for these WNBA playoff games in Vegas. And we'll get together and we'll talk about that good CFL for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I pull up on you when you get here. Safe travels, man, on that road. Hey guys, let's do this. We're gonna put the Rams money line together with the Niners money line. You guys do that. That's a me and Ski special. That'll be a 2-team money line parlay. That'll play good, probably plus 200 or something like that. Around there, probably plus 160 to plus 200. So take the Niners money line with the Rams money line at home. I think that's some good money.
All right, good shit. And we'll wrap it up on that note. So I appreciate y'all rocking with us. We'll be back here again next Friday. Best of luck on all your football action this weekend, and we'll catch you next week.